Hey, I'm David Davis, winner of the Ben Platt episode of Songland, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Congratulations, man. Another awesome week with Songland, and this time it was your turn to release your song, your single. Talk to me about the creative process of this track, everything I did to get to you, and what initially sparked the idea for this song for you.
Good thing. The original idea came from a writing session that was extremely fulfilling. In January of 2019, I went to Dubai and performed for 4 months at Quincy Jones's club out there at the Versace Hotel, and it was 73 shows in about 3.5 months, and it was one of the most amazing honors of my life, but also one of the most exhausting. And so when I got back, I decided to really dive into songwriting and to really dive back into the more creative process behind closed doors. So I got offered a session at Capitol Records by this app called Stereo. And I went in, and it was my first time really writing in a big group of people. I usually keep it to myself and one other person, but I walked in and for whatever reason, decided that this was the day that I was going to show up as myself 100% authentically. In the past, I've been told by certain artist developers or label execs and whatnot to lower my voice, be more masculine, don't talk about my sexuality in sessions so you don't put off people, and keep the queer thing on a low. And I decided after my experience in Dubai that that wasn't gonna fly anymore. That in order to write the best music that I could possibly write, it was going to require being 100% myself. How can I expect other writers to show up with their best and not give mine? So one of the writers, Charlie, started playing the piano, and I started singing this melody over it, and the first 2 lines of the song that you hear now. And within 15 minutes kind of had this chorus together, and all the writers were like, where is this coming from? What is this? And I sat there and said for the first time, it was really hard getting to a place of self-acceptance and love as a Black queer man. And one of the things I have to acknowledge is that the hard times of figuring out who I was and loving myself, are they all worth it for getting to a point where I'm cool and I'm down, And would I go through some of those hard times again to be able to have a loving relationship with my partner and to really feel like I could contribute my full self to a relationship? And as I said that, I just felt myself getting free and felt this just spiritual energy of just creativity and honesty. And, I had just met these people. We went from shaking hands to holding hearts in literally 15 minutes, but they were there and they caught me and they didn't judge me and just provided a space to write the most authentic, heartfelt song that we could.
I'm actually shocked to hear that about the music industry because, I always thought that the music industry was the safest place to be yourself and get creative like that. So this is shocking for me to hear that. In saying that, before we talk a little bit more about that song, you've released music in the past. You have a debut album out and you have other singles. So how were you okay with being able to kind of not show who you really are as a human with this music?
So my first album, I think, is an indication of what I was ready for. I was ready to kind of write music that felt personal to me, but was still fun, and ballads that were romantic. Everything I'm saying in my first album is as valid as anything I'm saying now. It's just a bit more, I would say, to be honest, open-ended. There aren't really any pronouns. It's very applicable, I think, to many people. And there's absolutely a way to be open-ended on a song and have it mean multiple things to multiple people, but what has been different for me now is saying, let's get straight to the heart of things up front. Let's get to the guts right now by just being 100% honest. And if we want to build something more broad out of that, then great. If we want to get down to the dirt and get gritty with it, then we have a foundation. Does that make sense?
No, that definitely does. That definitely does. It's funny because of the title of the new song, Everything I Did to Get to You. I feel like that kind of goes with your career as well, like the things you kind of had to go through, the things you kind of had to hide in order to be the artist that you are. So, you know, going back to this song, like, why did you feel this song was like so important for you that you wanted to present it on a show like Songland?
So Songland, when I was asked to submit music for it, I haven't told anyone else this in the interview, but I had a few other songs that I wanted for maybe a different artist on the show because I didn't know that Ben Platt was going to be on it. Although when we finished the song, I was like, this would be great for someone like Ben or maybe Sam Smith. They're like, let's figure out a kind of male crooner that this could work for. And so when they sent me the link to upload music, I actually sent different songs and then submitted that. We got the final back of this song, and then I dragged it into the submission folder, but didn't click enter. And because I was like, oh, maybe they won't want this. Like, you know, it's really personal. I don't know how to work out. And I guess the moment that you add it to the file, it just uploads. So when they reached out 2 weeks later, being like, we love this song and we think it'd be great for one of our artists, I was like, huh? I forgot that even like fully went through. And as they told me, like, here are some other artists like Ben Platt that could be on the show, I was like, duh, great, awesome, let's go.
That's so cool. It's funny because I see this happening to a lot of the other contestants where it's like it wasn't their first choice of a song that won, or it wasn't a song that they actually added. It was like a family member or a friend that was like, you have to put this in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that like the song that you least expected was the one that's like the hit.
Yeah, well, I turned in some high quality files that were fully done, glossy, mastered, and this one was just a demo. So I love that they do that though, because it allows there to be more room for them to add on the creativity for the artists themselves and for the producers to really get their hands into it before it's a fully realized idea. And what I presented was something I was super proud to, you know, sing to and thought was a good first run of it. But after seeing what Ryan did with us on the song, like, it just took it to a whole other level. I'm so thankful to have got to work with him.
Being that it is such a personal song to you and you got to, you know, present it in front of the world like the way that you did, do you feel different now about getting vulnerable when you're writing new music? Do you feel more comfortable now because you did it with this song?
I think I feel more comfortable going into bigger groups dynamics in terms of writing. So if there's more writing groups and whatnot, that I know if I expect 100% honesty from other people but don't give it first, then I'm just going to be running into walls. And I have found that since that session that as writers, you just got to make room for your crazy and be like, this is how I'm weird, this is how I see things. And it takes a lot to reprogram your mind to see those as assets and not as negatives or things that will keep you from moving forward. I'm just finding every day that leaning into what makes me me and loving myself for those reasons is the way for me.
Now, how important is it for you to get such feedback? Like, you know, Ryan and Shane were both like in love with both your lyrics and your melodies. Like, Ryan at one point was just like, I can't believe this came out of you. Like, you know, to hear that from a songwriter that's, I personally feel, has written so much great music to the point where you kind of wonder what else can he come out with, and then you surprise him with something new and fresh. Like, how do you feel about that?
It was
speechless.
Wild.
I get it.
it was really, really wild. It's just a testament to how powerful music is and how powerful trusting your gut on a lyric can be, because music is this great like force that brings people from all around, from different races, religions, and career levels to the same page. And it was so wild because when I was in the room, it felt like we were just in a writing session, because they're all so humble and they're all able to just see the point of how can we get the most excellent song out of this moment. And so when he was communicating that with me, it felt like we were two collaborators just talking about something that we liked. But when I zoomed back after the show and was like, wow, that is something I will never forget. That is something I will never ever forget. He's a personal hero of mine, so I'm so happy that he felt that way about it.
That's amazing. Now I have a little confession that I feel bad saying it, but I gotta say it.
Yeah.
I loved your voice a lot more with the song.
I don't think you should feel bad about saying that. I think that Ben and I both bring something very unique to the song. And when I first heard it, it took me a while to adjust my ears to, like, because I've heard so much of myself and I practiced it so many times. I was like, whoa! But it's beautiful what he brought to it. It's really, really stunning. His vocal delivery, some of the lyrics that he changed past the final edit, like, it just sounds so him. And I listened to it like 45 times last night on Spotify. It's like, yeah, I'm into this. I'm down for this. I love singing the song. I will sing that song for the rest of my life, but I'll always have a giant part of me that will be like, can someone play Ben Platt's version, please? Because I really like that version. That's an amazing version. It's his song now.
That's awesome. That must be hard to kind of let go of something so precious, like a song that you've written or you've worked so hard on.
I think it's a testament to taking off the artist hat and putting on the writer hat. And I don't think anyone really exemplifies that better than Ryan Tedder, going from One Republic to writing for Beyonce and Kelly Clarkson to being a philanthropist and all like he just is able, and a family guy. Like he has an awesome family, and so he just does it so eloquently. Like he just when we wrote in the room, it was, I didn't see One Republic. I saw an incredible writer. And I've also seen him perform live and only seen One Republic, you know? So I just had to put on my writer hat. And when I put on the writer hat, it said the greatest honor for a writer to have is an artist who connects to the song as much as you do when you started it. So I feel humbled and honored that he loved it as much as he did.
Now, moving forward, are you going to put that artist hat back on and work on a sophomore album? Because the long and short of it was such a great album. Heartache, definitely my favorite track on there. But, you know, what are your plans for music?
So obviously, COVID and the civil unrest in America right now has made everyone rethink how they do things. And right now, I'm really passionate about speaking out about what's happening in terms of police brutality and in terms of the inequality that we're still seeing in America. And so that's my big focus right now is protesting and writing from that point of view. I have a handful of plans for my solo work. So in a week and a half, I'll be doing a virtual concert series called Evening In. With David Davis, and basically you go onto this link that I send you after you purchase a ticket, and the first 15 minutes is a mixologist who gives you a kind of how-to guide to create a specialty cocktail based off of one of my songs. So if it was Heartache, it'd be like, you know, a little rum, a little maybe, you know, they're professionals, so they'll get that all sorted out. But with the ticket comes a $5 discount on a bottle of liquor that's delivered to your house that day. And so the host will take you through how to make that drink. We'll also be donating a portion of our proceeds to the nonprofit of that week. and talking about that social justice mission that we're trying to bring more eyes to. And then I go on and sing for 45 minutes my original stuff and some covers. And on the ticket link, you can ask for songs. And that's kind of my way of touring right now, because it's the most accessible way to bring the work I'm doing as an artist to people. So that comes out, that starts June 19th. The ticket link is live now at justdaviddavis.com. Just click on Evening In. And then I have my solo song Golden coming out on June 26th, which is the first song of the sophomore rollout, and I'm excited for that. It's gonna be funky and cool. That's the idea.
That's awesome. What can you tell me about Golden?
I can't tell you too much because I want you to hear it and love it. I learned a lot about the world and how I perceive it to be working when I was in Dubai, and being around some of the most like splendiferous buildings and cars, and singing for 120 people every night from all around the world who were bringing their personal journeys into the club and then all coming together for a good night. And the one thing I learned was that no matter how much you have material wise, there's always more space to love, and there's always there's nothing like loving somebody. And so the song chorus just says, ain't nobody else gonna take your place, you're golden, babe, like you're the number one. So that's coming out June 26th.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Well, definitely looking forward to that. Once again, congratulations with Songland. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate that.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.